Have you ever thought about the power of a cup of tea? Today, we sip it casually, in offices, at roadside stalls, at home, but 200 years ago, this little leaf decided the fate of nations, sparked wars, made millions rich and millions poor. This is the story of how tea built the British Empire. Tea was discovered in China thousands of years ago, but it reached Britain only in the 1600s. At first, it was so rare and expensive that only kings and queens drank it. Fun fact, it was Queen Catherine of Braganza, a Portuguese princess, who made tea fashionable in England after her marriage to King Charles II. At first, tea equals sign luxury item. Soon, it became a craze. By the 1700s, everyone in Britain, rich or poor, wanted tea. It wasn't just a drink anymore. It was Britain's identity. But there was one problem. Britain didn't grow tea. Every leaf came from China. And China didn't want British goods. They only wanted silver. This meant Britain's money was flowing straight into Chinese coffers. By the 18th century, Britain was drinking millions of pounds of tea every year and going nearly bankrupt. China =sign monopoly in tea trade, silver =sign world's most precious currency, Britain =sign addicted but broke, so Britain had to find a way to balance the trade. Their solution? Something deadly. The East India Company began growing opium in Bengal and selling it to China. Soon, millions of Chinese were addicted. Britain now got silver back, but China suffered. When the Chinese emperor tried to stop this trade, Britain went to war. These were the infamous Opium Wars, and at the end, China was forced to sign humiliating treaties, giving Britain Hong Kong and opening its ports. All of this, just to keep tea flowing into British cups. Britain solved silver crisis with opium. China paid the price with addiction and defeat. But Britain still didn't like depending on China. They wanted their own supply. The answer was India. In the 1830s, the British discovered wild tea plants in Assam. Soon, massive plantations were set up in Assam and Darjeeling. But who worked there? Poor Indian laborers. Many were tricked or forced, working long hours in harsh conditions. The profits went to Britain while the sweat came from India. India became world's largest tea producer. Tea gardens =sign symbol of colonial exploitation. Famous teas like Darjeeling still carry that colonial history. Tea also sparked revolutions. In America, Britain taxed tea heavily to raise money. The colonists were furious. In 1773, they boarded British ships and dumped entire crates of tea into the harbor, the famous Boston Tea Party. That act of rebellion led directly to the American Revolution. In India too, tea was a symbol of exploitation. Workers were treated poorly, and nationalists saw tea plantations as proof of British greed. So tea not only built empires, it also built resistance. But Britain didn't just trade tea, they made it a part of their culture. Afternoon tea with biscuits and sandwiches became a daily ritual in British homes. It spread across the empire from India to Africa. Tea drinking was marketed as civilized, a way of being British. This was soft power in action, controlling minds, not just markets. Tea was more than a drink, it was culture. Drinking tea =sign being modern under British rule. By the 19th century, tea was everywhere. It made Britain rich, expanded its empire, and even shaped wars and revolutions. But the legacy is complicated. In China, it left scars of addiction. In India, it fueled colonial exploitation. In America, it triggered independence. Tea brought people together, but it also divided them. Today we drink tea without a thought, but every sip carries history, of empires, rebellions, and lives changed forever. So the next time you enjoy a cup of chai or Earl Grey, remember, you're not just drinking tea. You're tasting history. Also, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.